Um, Yo, what's going on, Clank fam? Now, I'm live on Twitter, Periscope. I'm also live here on YouTube. It's my first time doing a live thing, so I'm still adjusting things. I'm trying to see how it works, all of that. But why am I doing this? Because I am suing T-Mobile. Yes, I'm tired of it. I've been a customer for a long time, and I'm tired of them trying to rip people off. They do deceptive things that not just them, but I'm saying that's my experience with them. So I have to take them to court. And I've been already a couple of times for some I guess appearance pre-trial things, and they at first thought that I was trying to dispute a bill. And well, first let me go here. I don't know if you've watched my channel before, but I always start with a little uh, help from my friends, the alcohol companies. So this one is Kawama. I don't know if you ever had this. It's like on my local Ralph's, which is a grocery store. It's probably like $2, $2-3. So that's what I'm gonna start with. But going back to what I was saying, when I first filed the lawsuit, T-Mobile um, they called me up, and they were like, they thought that it was just a bill dispute. They thought that I was just going to, I don't know, you take some fees away and I'm gonna be good. I was like, no, that's not what it's about at all. I'm talking about your deceptive business practices. You're predatory, because you know what predatory means is when you take advantage of people that don't understand something, like senior citizens or people that don't speak the language, and you embezzle them in a way that they don't understand. That's predatory. And that's what T-Mobile does. Like I said, I know there's a bunch of other companies, but I'm saying T-Mobile, my experience, and I'm gonna go down the list of everything that they do, at least to me. So basically, well, first of all, they make their website so you can't even understand it. I don't know if you have a T-Mobile account, but you go to their website and you can't even um, like navigate through it. It's horrible. Like a company with so many millions of dollars, you can design a website that people can understand. Look at Facebook. They want people to use Facebook, so they design a website so that people can understand it. But T-Mobile does it where they break your bill in a way that you can never get to your bill. And when you get to your bill, you can't understand your bill because each charge is how do you get a bill that's like 30-40 pages? You can't. It cannot be that they cannot make it simpler. And you think, oh well, that's just their design. No, they do this. They've done this for years. They do this so you don't understand what you're paying. Because let's get to the next part. You'll find a lot of charges on T-Mobile that are like 1 cent here, 2 cent tax here. It's bogus. They make up their tax. Actually, you go through your bill and you'll see some of these T-Mobile taxes, and there's like uh, phone company subcharge, and I've already researched all of this. There's only like a couple of real federal government charges that you have to pay. The rest, the rest of the charges on the T-Mobile bill, those taxes, they made them up. I researched this. I was so upset when I realized, wait, you mean to tell me that the federal GI mandatory regulatory T-Mobile Act bill tax is not real? You mean to tell me that you've been charging me, $1.99 every month for I don't know how many years, and that's not even a real tax? You just made it up? And to me, that's part of being predatory. That's part of just them using, language that people usually don't question in order to charge you more. That's what they do. Sorry, I had to calm down. Kawama. They're not paying me, by the way. I pay them $2, actually, $1.99 on Raps to promote them. Anyway, I'm just trying to keep it lighthearted. But it's not a lighthearted issue because I'm taking T-Mobile to court, and I'm not sure if I'm going to win. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you why it's so hard to win against these companies, the telecommunication companies. Let me tell you. A while back, there was a decision by the Supreme Court of the United States that you cannot take a telecommunications company to court. Like you can't take it to, yeah, they are like a bunch of man. But let me tell you, the Supreme Court is in on this. So the Supreme Court takes T-Mobile, not T-Mobile, telecommunications companies, they take that case and they say you cannot do a class action lawsuit against telecommunications companies. So you, me, all of us can't get together and sue T-Mobile. We can't sue AT&T. We can't sue any of these companies as a group. You have to sue them individually. You know how hard that is? That's why they are the way they are. That's why they're ripping people off. Because if we were able to get together and go, hey, I'm going to show you how to sue in a little bit. You're 6. You know, if you take them to court, you individually, you'll never end. And if we were able to get into a group and sue them, we will make them change. But the Supreme Court said no, you can't sue them. Why? They're billion-dollar corporations, and you can't do a class action lawsuit like you will be able to do with any other company. Why? Why is that even fair for the consumer? Now, let me go down the list because I have a lot to go. The bills, I already told you, the bills are unreadable. If you got in it through the website or if you got in the T-Mobile bill on paper, you can't read that thing. That's predatory. They're doing that on purpose. You mean to tell me that you can't tell me at one page how much is my service, maybe the tax, and bam, that's it. No, they break it down into the federal sections over here and international mandate regulations over here. It's like, shut up, man. Like, come on. Like, when I found out that it was so bogus, I was like, that's why I'm upset right now. That's why I'm trying to get people to listen and go and do what you got to do. We got to bring some change upon these companies that are taking, because see, I'm able to do this. I'm able to go to court. I'm able to fight. I'm able to articulate myself. There's people that, they just need phone. They're just going to pay it. They're afraid. They don't have time. So they're ripping people off. Imagine if you just get 5 cents extra, which they do, way more, from each customer, and you got millions of customers. I mean, you're making money that you never earned, and you're taking it from the people that actually need the service in order to keep a job or whatever it may be. Like for me, I got to keep a small business, so I need my phone. This is what T-Mobile does. I'm going to tell you the ultimate gangster move they pull. So they'll, like I will have a bill dispute because sometimes my bill will be, I've had bills for $1,500 and I have 2 phone lines. Anyway, that is so much that I'm gonna just focus on what happens, right? So I get a bill. I call them up and say, look, I don't owe this. So they're like, okay, we're gonna research that. We're gonna look into that. So what do? Like a couple of days later, they disconnect my phone. They disconnect. They say, well, you haven't made a payment. It's like, I haven't made a payment because I'm not gonna pay you, $1,500 that I don't owe. And you told me you were gonna look into it, and you haven't heard back, but you just disconnect my phone. It's like, yes. All right, so I gotta pay now an X amount of money to put my phone back on, and then on top of that, I gotta not only put my phone connected, but they're gonna charge me a fee for reconnecting my phone. All right, not because I have one account, they charge me one fee. They charge me a fee to reconnect my phone on each one of those accounts. Of those numbers. So I have 2 numbers and I have an iPad that's hooked up. So you're talking about 3 $20 fees for one disconnection on one account. And that's fair? That's really fair. First of all, they should have never been disconnected. By the way, they will disconnect it with no problem at all times. And they're usually disconnected. Peep this, they're disconnected on a Friday or before a holiday because they know people need their phones, and you're gonna call up and pay whatever. At the point that they disconnect my phone, I just need it back at that moment. So I don't have time to argue about the bill. I just, how much is it to get it connected right now? And that's when they get you. Now, moving on beyond that. So roaming fees. All right. So I travel internationally. For example, sometimes I go to Mexico, and in Mexico I'll get a text. I didn't ask for a text. I get a text that says, "Hey, it's 20 cents per minute here. You can use your phone. You know, free internet, whatever." I'm like, actually, that sounds good. I use my phone. Come back a month later, the 20 minutes, that 20 cents a minute, that's not true. So I'm getting charged now 80 cents a minute, $1.50 a minute. And I'm like, calling them up like, wait, what's happening? I got a text that you guys sent me that I didn't ask for saying that I can use my phone at 20 cents a minute. And then they told me, yes, but that's because they'll give you some mumble jumble because I'm going to tell you another thing they do. So T-Mobile goes and puts their call centers in Philippines and India. I'm not making that up. But why do they do that? Is it cheaper? Probably. Most likely. But they do it because when you call them, they have a script. I mean, you can't understand them. I'm serious. Like, you can't understand the customer service. So imagine trying to argue something as complex as per minute charges while you're roaming on a different country with someone that don't speak the language. And then on top of that, they have a script. So it doesn't matter what your argument is. If you tell them, look, blah, 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 their script will give you whatever the script is. But sir, you have roaming charges. It's like, I know, I shouldn't have roaming charges. Yes, but since you have roaming charges, now you owe roaming charges. They're like, I'm calling you because I don't owe these roaming charges. They're like, but you owe is a never-ending story. So you can never get to somebody in the United States in order for you to have at least a coherent conversation, like a coherent back and forth. On top of that, I'm going to keep going because it's a lot. And I'm not even going to be able to tell you everything. I'm just giving you things that they do that are deceptive, that are messing you up, that are, people like in my family, they would never argue this. They're just going to pay it and put their head down and know they got ripped off and just keep going. So now I got to do something about it. That's the way I feel. And a lot of you are getting ripped off too. Look at your bill. All those charges are not your charges. You'll get paid. Sometimes they'll charge me a penny tax, right? And I'm like, what is this tax for? Do I really have 3 hours to call India to talk to a T-Mobile rep for a penny or 5 cents that I see on there? I don't. So guess what? I just pay it just like you do, just like everybody does. And they're making millions. They're making millions off of you. They're making millions. Now, this is T-Mobile, and I'm telling you why I'm suing them. Another thing that I do, by the way, if you can watch this on my clanktv.com channel later on, and if you have something to add, let me know. Let me know how they're ripping you off. Another thing that they're doing is that they're taxing you, right, on each phone line. Bogus taxes. They're not even real taxes. They're like made up. I've called them so many times and gotten that money back. They will give it to you back because they know they're not right. So they get the money back, but you don't get that tax back because they tax you on the bogus tax. I mean, understand the absurdity of T-Mobile. Understand how it works. And understand how you can't sue them in a class action lawsuit. Why? Why does it all come together like that? I don't know. I just know that I'm the victim here. And a lot of you are the victims. But it takes a few victims to get fed up to change the system. And I'm one of those. Okay, beyond those taxes, when you get disconnected and they charge you a fee per line, which is not right because you only have one account. But they're charging you per line. I have a data line with an iPad. You're going to tell me that it's the same reconnection fee as a phone? It's bogus. But check it out. They tax your fees. So when you call in to make a payment, by the way, they charge you $5 for that. They tax that $5. Yeah, am I the only one? Am I the only one that's seeing? This is exactly why we're in debt. Because of these companies. They nickel and dime you. And no one does anything about it. You just pay. And yes, you're right. Banks are the worst. But right now, I got to tackle this T-Mobile thing. I got bills. My bills, $700. I have 2 phones. All right. Another thing, the insurance. You know how many times I've called to cancel the insurance? Do you know how many times every month I'm calling to cancel my insurance? I don't want insurance on my Note 4 from 2014. I don't want it. Okay, sir, we'll cancel it. There we go. Next month, it's right back on there. Like, am I stupid? Right? Am I stupid that I'm just gonna be like, okay, fuck it, just charge me? No, I'm fed up. I'm done. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll pay for insurance that you don't want. Maybe you'll pay for apps that you've never downloaded that they will be on your bill. Do that. If that's what you want to do. I'm not. I'm fed up. And I'm calling out anybody that wants to get rid of this to just get your money back. And you get it through the court. So that's a record. You know, don't try to reverse one of my $60 fees. You know, don't reverse my $60 fee. Give me all my money back. Give me all my money back. I mean, why are you making your bill so difficult for me to see that you're charging me bogus charges? And why did the Supreme Court, this is what makes me pissed off the most, why did the Supreme Court stop people from being able to sue these companies as a class action? You know, like, why? Like, I mean, it doesn't even make sense that you can sue any other company as you know, if everybody got together and sue Coca-Cola because it has too much sugar, that's one thing. You can do that. You can't sue T-Mobile for making up taxes and putting them on my bill. Look at your bill. Don't talk to me. Yes, exactly. Those companies are there's the money right there. But we're the consumers. We have more power. We just don't use that power because we need our phone. That's where they get you. Because once you disconnect that phone, you know you need it. You need it for work. You need it for your kids. You need it for your family. It's become almost a necessity to survive in the society that we live in today. Right? So they know this. So they have a monopoly on it. And they all get together and go, okay, we're going to charge you. They have something that's like regulatory telecommunications funds. Right? There's something like that on their bill. Look it up. It's bogus. I looked it up. You don't have to pay that. That's not in your agreement. That's another thing. They tell you they tell you, okay, we changed our terms of service. I didn't change them. You know, like, they're like, well, if you pay for your bill, then you're agreeing to our new terms of service. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not agreeing. I'm sticking to exactly like look, I'm sticking to what my original contract was. And I don't know if you have it, if you have your original contract, look it up and stick to that. All those new contracts they come up with and the things, don't fall for that. That's not what you signed up for. It's like if you meet someone, you meet them under those terms, and later if that person changes, then that's a new deal. And you stick it by what you first you first agreed to. And then look at your bill. Yeah, exactly. A new contract. No, every time, another thing, they will get you with the phone leases and all of that. That's a given. A lot of people go into those. You already know you're about to get ripped off. Just make sure that every time they try to get you into a new contract because they have new terms on how they can charge you more bogus taxes, more bogus money. They're doing all of that. And they do it in a way that you cannot read it in your bill. I mean, I've tried to look at my T-Mobile bill and you get a headache. And then even if I find something that I got to dispute, I got to call. You used to work for Sprint? Okay, I have somebody here that used to work for Sprint. I mean, all of them have a monopoly. Yeah, it's like the banks. You know, that's a whole nother topic. But I'm talking about right now, these cell phone companies. A lot of people on welfare have these cell phone companies. A lot of people that are poor have these cell phone companies. You don't have a choice. You either get with T-Mobile or AT&T or Sprint or Verizon, and you're done. Because they make it so difficult for people to be able to be competitive. And then since they know they can be sued, then they'll do whatever they want and charge you whatever they want. And if you want to argue with them, do it. But you gotta call India, you gotta call the Philippines. I got recorded phone calls of people from the Philippines that don't speak English. Not making it up. And I know some of them are like they speak a little bit. No, so, like most of them like they don't speak the language. They like you cannot have a conversation about federal taxes on your T-Mobile bill from the May cycle because they don't understand what you're talking about. They have a script, and if you go off that script, they don't know how to help you. So I wanted to bring this out. I mean, I have a whole list of things. I'm preparing my case. I'm going back to court this month already in August. I've been already to court. I had to subpoena records. I had to do a lot of things. You know, and you know, you can only go really to small claims. You can go to a federal court, but you're not. You know, once you go to federal court, they can bring their attorneys in. You're not gonna win. You just. I mean, it don't matter. You gotta go lawyer up. But in small claims, you have a better chance. You're probably still not gonna win. It's really gonna depend if that judge is pro market or pro companies or pro consumer. Like it's gonna be the luck of the draw, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking them small claims, and I'm going to make my case. And even if I lose, I know that I made my case and I did everything possible. Maybe one day somebody will watch this back and go, okay, he was right way back then, but this has got to change, and I'm gonna do whatever it changes. But if you wanna, just make sure you leave me a comment if you got something else that I haven't talked about. All the commercials, that's a whole nother thing. But they do these commercials like it's the best deal ever, and they tell you, yeah, on 2 lines for $80. They don't tell you they're gonna charge you another $50 in taxes. That's not right. I mean, they gotta tell you, in advertising, there's laws that prohibit you to talk, to promise things that you're not going to deliver. And that's what they do all the time. Their CEO is always on Twitter. It always appears on my timeline with some promoted tweet. It's like he looks like he's trying to promote himself. It's like, man, do you understand what your company's doing to poor people? Because if you really did, you wouldn't worry about making another $300 billion or whatever, and worried about being fair to the people. I'm not saying don't make money. Make your money. I think people are willing to pay for the service. But when you try to just hide fees, and when you try to do things like that are deceptive and predatory, I have a problem with that. So I'm not done with this, but I'm gonna be done with this video, and I'm gonna keep you updated on what happened with T-Mobile. And if you have anything, please, I need you to comment. I need you to tell me something that I may miss, something that's happened to you. I need this, and I might use those comments in court. I might go, look, I made this video, and these are some of the things that are happening to other people, because they need to. I'm gonna make sure I'm not getting ripped off anymore. Not by T-Mobile. It's over. And if they disconnect my phone, which they do all the time, by the way, by mistake, and I have those phone calls recorded, then let it be. But they're coming after me in their little sly ways. But I'm gonna keep fighting, and I'm actually using, I'm not even gonna say anything else. Until next time, Clank TV, trying out my first live here on Twitter as well. I'm gonna be out later.